Hello, hello, hello. I think it's just me here. So, hi, me. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test. Let's see, I got one more person in here. Hello, hello. This is Houston Foodie 713. I am doing a test to see how I would do a Diddy Trial live. I know a lot of people are covering it, and I am interested. It's definitely not for the weak, but I don't have a weak stomach. Um, Good afternoon, Winona Otis. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the chat. Thanks for joining the channel. Are you a subscriber, Winona? Welcome in. Welcome in. I see some people coming in. Y'all let me know if I'm speaking too low or too loud or whatnot. Not sure how long I'll be on here, but this is the welcome. This is the intro. I'm also celebrating 3,000 subscribers. I have been monetized for, I don't even think I've been monetized a year yet. And I have 3,000 subscribers. Woohoo! Whoop, whoop. Thanks for being a subscriber. Hello, Only Me 23. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. This is a test. For some reason, I'm not as nervous about this Diddy live as I would be for a Nesto live. I don't know why. Don't know why. But I'm here just chilling. Had a little nibble. The hubby made some baked chicken wings and green beans. So I had a little bite. First thing, no, it's not the first thing I ate today. I'm thinking it is, but no, I'm just greedy. I had a sausage croissant from Burger King when I dropped my daughter off to daycare this morning. So let me know how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. Answer the poll question. Hey, Isabella Villanueva, you finally caught a live? Well, I know I normally do premieres. I don't do lives very often where, I'm live at 5. But yes, I'm glad you caught a live. Thanks for joining. Trying to see if there's any people that are going to come in here. How many people are going to come in here? I won't make the intro too long, but we're kind of just shooting the ish anyway. This is not formal at all. Awesome, Winona Otis. Thanks for subscribing and hitting the notification button so you don't miss any of the videos. Let me put some of these comments up here. I'm not a seasoned live person, so no expectations or low expectations. So Isabella says, oh, okay, well, watching from NYC, I still think Sonya has a side boyfriend, LOL. You know she got about 4-5 side ninjas. I wouldn't call them boyfriends. Bedmates. She might even have a couple more that are serving time for all we know. Thank you, Only Me 23. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, what do y'all think about the Nesto hearing being reset again, cancel, reset, whatever y'all want to call it? Now we know it's been reset to what, August 4th? According to, I haven't even gotten on there and checked the docket my darn self. Real Talk Bougie said it was August 4th, right? Yeah, August 4th. Welcome in, Obsessed with the Mess. This is a test. This is only a test. I'm just testing out in case I have time during the day to do some Diddy Trial stuff. Very informal. Just trying to see, feel things out. I got some tabs open in case we look at some live law and crime, or if I do on the spot CNN updates or like a recap from the week prior. Um, hey, cross country cruiser. She says hi all. Thanks for joining. Hey, Ducky Dexter, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Says with the mess says that pissed me off because the docket already said conflict with attorney. So I'm wondering why it didn't just say canceled on the docket instead of wasting everybody's time. Yeah, nobody has time to really do their job anymore unless whoever updates it is just playing with us, playing with the bloggers. But like we were saying earlier, it's not just YouTube bloggers that are invested or involved. It's the quote unquote real media too. I don't know if there were any probably not news stations or any other media up there, but yeah, they're playing with everybody's time. I'm like, somebody needs to complain. Somebody needs to write a letter. I don't know if they need to complain on Big Hoove or Dunaway or what, but yeah, this is crazy. They doing the most. And even though Sean couldn't be there, where was the lawyer for the X crimes? True. Isn't Pam still over the sex crimes too? X crimes? That's a whole different case that still could have been addressed. True. I put a members live in. If y'all are or not a member yet, I'll probably go live either tonight, depending upon what time my child goes to sleep, or maybe early in the morning. But I have some little tea regarding, Nesto's fade, or an update on what's going to happen with Nesto. Um, so hopefully y'all will be up tonight, or I'll try to give enough notice if I'm going to cancel it and do it in the morning. But yeah, he has the X crime stuff going on, which he was supposed to have the plea and arraignment for that today, and then we were supposed to hear about the motions for the evidence. So I don't know. I mean, it sucks if you're just driving, let alone flying to court. I don't know. Pam probably hasn't gone live today yet, has she? She might not, unless she's gonna just go live for Diddy stuff. But I don't know. Yeah. So let me see. Let me try to work some of this stuff out and see what they're talking about on Law and Crime. Are y'all interested in the Diddy trial? For the most part, can y'all handle everything that's being said in the courtroom? I know some of us get triggered by certain things, but I can handle it. Fortunately, I haven't had any extreme um, actual encounters, like rape or child. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I haven't had any situations like that, so it doesn't trigger me. Oh, Pam did go live. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. Um, stuff like that. It doesn't trigger me. Some of it is gross, but because I've been kind of following along the last year or so, it's nothing is a shocker. Nothing is a shocker. Now I did hear something about Diddy's mom, um, but I don't know if it's true or not. Something about what Diddy's mama did to some macaroni. Did y'all hear anything about what Diddy's mama did to some macaroni? Cross country cruises, I can't handle it, but do your thing because others are interested. Oh, okay. Pam went live in members. Oh, okay. I don't think I'm a member currently. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll go over to Law and Crime first and see what they're talking about. I know that, well, I know we're not supposed to disclose who the Jane Doe is, but if y'all following the trial, y'all probably already know who Jane Doe is, the one that Diddy's still paying her rent to this day. And Lauren Crime was just saying that she could possibly be a witness for the defense, the way she's been talking. Because she was saying that it's a shock to her. It was a shock to her when she saw the Cassie video of Diddy hitting Cassie because she didn't have that experience. I figured she hadn't had that experience because they hadn't said anything at this point. You know, it boggles me how men pick and choose. Some men, because some men will whoop on any and every woman, but it boggles me how some men pick and choose who they try to put their hands on. So she was saying that she didn't have that experience with Diddy, and Young Miami probably didn't either. So maybe he's reformed since he kind of had an idea that some of this stuff was about to go down for him. Because did y'all remember him getting on the Breakfast Club before all this stuff started coming up, and Diddy was talking about how he's changed and he's not doing things he used to do, and now he's open and honest with all of his women, so he doesn't have the same drama with the women anymore. It's like, nah, you probably knew something was coming around the pike, or coming down the pike, so you kind of straightened up a little bit, even though you're still the same person. And Winona Otis says, probably not as much as we are interested in Nasty Nesto, but I'm so nosy that I'll tune in. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can possibly get a flow going. I know a lot of people come on with the lives early in the morning covering Diddy, but I probably ain't gonna be able to do early in the morning. So maybe, something around this time or noon or later in the morning, I'll get on and just shoot the ish and go through the updates. So let me see. Let me try to share this screen so see how this goes. See what law and crime talking about.
Completely unfair. I imagine that's something they're going to say. But look, that's their opinion of the testimony. It's a matter of fact.
Can y'all hear that?
When any of these witnesses are not telling the truth, which is here I got a follow-up question for you, Tal. This is from Blessing E. Can the charges be split between directed verdict and jury verdict? Again, the idea about taking the defense jumping in and saying this shouldn't go to the jury.
That's a good question. I mean, they could move for direct.
Thanks again, only me, for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
Done. Generally, what happens on the directed verdict, though, you have a defense lawyer make an argument for a directed verdict on all the charges. Strategically, it could be favorable, I guess, to try to split it up if the prosecution just has not done a good job, or that they don't believe they've done a good job, for example, on RICO or sex trafficking. They could do that, but generally, more times than not, it's just a directed verdict on all the charges that the government's bringing.
We have a poll up. Who would you want to see on the stand next? 76% say Christina Quorum, 23% say D-Rock. But clearly, you have two individuals who seemingly play major roles in this saga. I do believe Christina Quorum, is somebody that is very, very important, just based on the fact that the prosecution hasn't missed an opportunity to bring her up in every witness who's testified. All right, this is okay. So this is from Cecilia Boggle. I throw this to you, Candace. Will Sean Combs testify?
Well, you mentioned Christina Quorum. That's a very good segue into answering that question. And that if Christina Quorum testifies, I predict she's going to throw it all on Sean. And at that point, I think that he will have to think even more seriously about testifying if he isn't already. Obviously, it is not a good idea. I mean, think about his testimony in a sense already in terms of his apology tape that he had time to prepare for. How did that come off? He would not only have to answer to that, but he'd have to answer to every single thing that a witness says. But I think that if she testifies once again, if she pins it all on him, he might think this is going to be my only saving grace. Because now you have this woman over here who we know who has been there every step of the way, probably going to make a very good witness too. That's just my guess. And he's going to feel on the defense. I think his ego would probably kick in. I think that he probably would much more strongly consider testifying if she goes for the jugular and puts it all on him. Absolutely.
You gotta wonder his judgment, though. Like you said, the judgment to make an apology video on Instagram 2 days after CNN published that video, it painted his defense, it painted his arguments in a corner. So you wonder if it really would serve him to do this. But I'll throw up another follow-up question to you, Candace. This is from Ray Bishop, goes to the idea of the defense. Will they use the lack of violence with Jane, which, by the way, there's a caveat. I would say as of yet, we don't know what's coming out in the next course of the day. Will they use the lack of violence with Jane as a way to poke holes in Cassie and her friend's story by making it seem contrived?
I think they definitely will say, all right, there was no violence when you compare it to all these other people, the hanging out of the window and Mia's door her being slammed in the door. But I do think that saying it was contrived, I think that that's a long way to go in terms of just continuing to say, oh, they're lying. I think at first, when the defense would say, okay, aren't you lying? Isn't this a money?
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Isn't that not the truth?
They're all lying.
A little bit, but I think that that's kind of worn off. The fact that there is no violence, as you said, we have yet to see that with Jane, but Jane is just one person. Every single other person, every single witness almost has testified to some violence who was in his inner circle.
Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to refresh one screen and that one started refreshing. Like I said, this is a test. Oh, I was way behind in the law and crime thing, so it looks like they're looking at the front freaking door right now. Let me go to CNN, the updates for today. I'll kind of read through those so I can catch up as well. That's where if some of y'all are triggered, y'all might. And I gotta watch what I say too, so this whole thing don't be demonetized. I'll start with after lunch. After lunch. So again, Jane Doe is on the stand, who some of y'all might know who that is. I don't want to say who it is, but this other rapper who's been feuding with Diddy or kind of trolling Diddy since all this stuff popped off, exposed his baby mama for being Jane Doe on the stand. Thumbs up if y'all know who Jane Doe is that's currently on the stand. Thumbs up if y'all know who Jane Doe is that's currently on the stand. Let me take this down and share the CNN one. I might need a double dose of coffee before I do these because my energy, I have energy, but it's just, I just be chilling. I be chilling. I'm not a hyper person. I can drink some coffee and then go to sleep. What am I looking for? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Obsessed with the mess cross country. Okay, y'all know who she is. Okay. Now I forgot why I was asking that. Okay, so after lunch, it says the jury's on lunch break. Catch up on what happened this morning. Okay, so I'll just read through that. And did y'all see where Diddy had asked the sketch artist to do better, basically? Like, Diddy, you know you ugly. He or she can't do no better with your ugly ass. All right, Jane, one of Sean Diddy Combs' accusers who is testifying under a pseudonym, continued her testimony this morning. Today is Jane's third day on the stand for direct examination, which is expected to continue through the afternoon. Here's what she said this morning. Love bombing. Jane testified she felt that whenever Combs wanted me or wanted one of these nights, the love bombing or the persistency would start. She said she had a fight that continued the next day. I'm sorry, she said they had a fight that continued the next day when Combs sent her messages asking to come over after she stopped responding to him, saying, "That's my house too," referring to the house Jane was living in, where Combs was paying rent. Oh, God. Sobriety party. Around that time, Jane testified that she and Combs went to a hotel for what she described as a sobriety party. Jane said she did not take any drugs during the party, but threw up after having sex with two men. When she told Combs she'd gotten sick, she said he told her, "Okay, that's good. You'll feel better now. Let's go outside." She testified that she then had sex with a third man and felt absolutely terrible at the end of the night. After Jane expressed her frustration over the sobriety party, which she called traumatic, Combs offered to pay 3 more months of her rent, she testified. How does a sobriety party equate to having sex with 3 men? How does that go together? Health issues. Jane testified that after the sobriety party, she developed a UTI and a yeast infection. Now, that's where I would draw the line. We all know how painful those are. We all know how painful a UTI is. I think we've all had at least one in our lives, and one is enough to never forget and never want to get one again. I would be done. A UTI and a yeast infection. Was it at the same time? Oh, God, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Hey, allegedly in Harmon. Thanks for joining. How you been doing? How's your day going? I know, cross country cruiser. All this stuff is yuck yuck. I'm a horror movie person. I don't scare easy. I don't get grossed out easy. So this stuff here is just, I don't know. I just read it, I hear it, and I just keep it moving. I'll be like, ugh, yuck, and then just move on. Keep reading. Oh, obsessed with them as you never had one? Yeah. I can recall having one, maybe two. I think my first one was around college age. And I had my cycle at the same time too. I know it's TMI. I had my cycle at the same time too. When I tell you, I didn't want anybody to even look at me. Hey, Jay Breezy, welcome in. Thanks for joining. This is a test. This is only a test. Diddy Trial Live. This is only a test. I'm just kind of filling things out to see if I can do this on a daily or a couple times a week, something like that, until the trial is over. I know they plan for 8 weeks, and this is week 5. So hello, Jay Breezy. Thanks for joining. And hello again, and thank you again, my wonderful, amazing mod, allegedly in AH. So I was just reading what had happened. What was this prior to lunch? I was reading what happened. Welcome in, Kenneth 14. Thanks for joining the live. We're also celebrating 3,000 subscribers. I know I'm gonna celebrate that for at least a week or two. At least a week, maybe. You know, just so everybody can participate in the celebration. All right, so let me keep reading. I gave y'all TMI on the UTI and yeast infection. Okay, so this is Jane Doe's health issues. At one point, she said she texted Combs, "You placed and paid all of these harmful men on me and risked my health." She told him their relationship was never love and that I regret everything and all this dark, toxic ish that entered my life. Yeah, but you're not regretting the rental payments. I mean, You weigh the pros and cons of everything you do. It's like, yeah, you paying my rent, but I got to do what now? Nah, that's okay. No. All right, next, my own story. When Cassie Ventura filed her civil lawsuit against Combs in 2023, Jane testified that she felt the suit had a harrowing resemblance to her own experience. I just reacted like, I can't believe I'm reading my own story, she testified. She says she wrote to Combs a few days after the suit was filed, telling him she felt gaslit by him and that he made her feel crazy about the SEX trauma I was developing, knowing you've been here before. According to Jane, Combs did not respond for 2 days, then told her to call him on the phone. Call with Combs, a recorded call between Jane and Combs, was played for the jury. Jane was audibly emotional as she spoke about the hotel nights, while Combs is heard saying it was just some kinky-ish that I thought that we both enjoyed. Combs also told Jane, I need you to be there for me. Later that day, they spoke again in another recorded call, during which Combs said multiple times that he needed Jane's friendship right now. He also told her, you ain't got to worry about nothing else, which Jane testified she understood as a reference to the rent payments for her house. Yeah, but you already knew what came along with that, though. You already knew what came along with that. All right, 41 minutes ago, Jane is back on the stand. Wait a minute. Am I going the wrong way, y'all? Oh, I said I'm going to start the lunch. No, I'm going the right way. Okay, 41 minutes ago, Jane is back on the stand after lunch break. The lunch break has ended. Jane, one of Sean Diddy Combs' accusers. Oh, I already read that. I'm sorry, y'all. No, I didn't. Testified under a pseudonym and dated Combs from 21 to 24 is back on the stand for continued direct examination by the prosecution. 3 days is a long time to be on the stand. 35 minutes ago, Jane says she didn't see Combs in person for about 3 months after Ventura lawsuit. The first time Jane saw Sean Diddy Combs after Cassie Ventura's November 2023 federal lawsuit against him was in February of 2024, Jane testified. In Jane's mind, she and Combs were on a break between November 2023 and February 2024, but they still had some communication in those months, Jane testified. 29 minutes ago, please stop using women for your fetish, Jane wrote to Combs. Jane sent Sean Diddy Combs a message on December 7, 2023 with a screenshot of something on Instagram that she said was something that was very triggering for me. The Instagram post was not discussed or shown in court. Jane texts Combs, I'm crying and it's so close to some nights I felt forced. So is this stuff about Cassie that's coming up that's triggering her? She also wrote, please stop using women for your fetish and leave women alone who don't want to do those nights with you. Hire prostitutes and stop emotionally harming women that love you. Combs responded, you trying to set me up. This is crazy, effing crazy. Are you recording our phone calls? Jane texts back, no, stop calling. What? I'm trying to figure out, was she recording the phone calls? How are they playing the phone calls in court? Jane texts back, no, stop calling me. You will never understand because you're so deep in your own lies that you tell yourself. She also wrote, I set up the men for myself because I didn't want to be set up with any more strangers. It was a protective instinct for myself. Okay. Let me check the comments. See who's in the building. Thanks so much, Obsessed with the Mess. Hey, Jet Black Straight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Thank you, In Harmon. And thank you. Welcome in, Jackie Gates. You caught a live. Thanks for being here, y'all. Please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss any of the videos. I did a premiere this morning of one of Nesto's calls with, I think it was with Dion. Yeah, Nesto's calls. Was it with Dion? Yeah, my mind. When I get on these lives, my mind goes blank. I'm not a big on the spot person. So I think it was with Nesto and Dion this morning. So that video is up, and then I got to finish editing the next call, which is going to be a juicy one. And also for my members, I'm going to try to do a members live to give y'all some exclusive information about Nesto's cases. And it is from a credible source. So please check out the membership link it won't be in this description box, but in Harmon, do you have a way of getting my membership link, or do I have to pull that? Jackie Gay says, I know we're not talking about next door right now, but I like when Dion goes off on the lawyer. You talking about the lawyer, or you talking about Sonya? Oh, okay. When Dion goes off on Sonya, yeah. You talking about when he says it on the call, or when he goes off and supposedly sent her some messages on Snapchat or something that vanished. Sonya told Nesto that Dion cussed her smooth out and she couldn't pull the messages anymore. Which one are you referring to when Dion went off on her? All right, let me keep reading. 24 minutes ago, I'm not even the same person anymore. Jane texted Combs in December 2023. Jane is continuing to testify about messages she exchanged with Sean Diddy Combs in December 2023. On December 27, 2023, she sent Combs messages in which she said he was never satisfied. You couldn't ever handle this pain. I'm not even the same person anymore, she said in the messages. Now, she started dating him in 2021. So by 2023, she was a different person. Okay, maybe. I mean, I would be too if I'm having to endure all of that. Yeah. But why waste your time texting him? And I will ask why, even though I know there's reasons why they had this interaction and why they stayed in this situation with this sick dude. But I just ask why just for, you know, just to think about it, just to put it out there. If you're done, if you're not the same person anymore, if you can't, handle it and deal with it anymore, then don't even text about it. Move on. But you know, we know he was manipulative and used his money to keep these women stuck in these situations. I know everyone doesn't agree with that. Some people feel like, they could walk away at any time. But everybody has their own opinions, and I appreciate everybody's opinion. So feel free to chime in with your thoughts and your opinions. No judgment, no judgment zone. And even though all opinions are welcome, just so y'all know, I think Diddy needs to be found guilty and he needs to stay locked up forever. Just to be clear. I'm not going to flip flop on that. I just will try to think of all sides, but I think Diddy should be locked up forever, personally. you know. So Jackie Gates told me on Snapchat when he was going off on her, even when she called him on his phone before he had her blocked, he had went off on her too. Yeah, I would love to hear what exactly he said to her. Hey, let's talk about it all. Thanks for joining. I know people are in and out, in and out. This is just a test. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on. Just kind of going through what's happened with Diddy so far today. Jane Doe's on the stand. Some of y'all already know who Jane Doe is, thanks to that rapper that constantly trolls Diddy. Jane Doe is, I won't say who it is, but it's that trolling rapper, baby mama. Okay, where did I stop? Okay, Combs asked her how they could move on and asked if she was free in the new year. Jane says she lifted him up in those rooms and took on a lot to make him happy. In later messages, Combs said stop with the rooms and accused her of setting him up. Jane testified that he was referring to the hotel nights, testified that she was not planning on filing a lawsuit against him. All right, let's see what the updates are. Okay. All right, 4 minutes ago, Jane's testimony about resisting hotel nights is significant for the trafficking charge, legal expert says. Okay. Jane, one of Sean Diddy Combs' accusers who has been testifying under a pseudonym since last week, continued her direct examination this afternoon, describing how she repeatedly told Combs she did not want to participate in the hotel nights. During her testimony, Jane read aloud several text messages in which she expressed this sentiment to Combs. In one message read to the jury this morning, she said she did not want to play this role anymore and that she didn't want to feel obligated to perform these nights with you in fear of losing the roof over my head, referring to the fact that Combs had been paying her rent. This testimony could help the prosecution's case on the trafficking charge, which suggests coercion or duress by Combs against other people. Now, Jane is one of them, CNN legal analyst Mark O'Mara told CNN. I think it's very, very important, O'Mara said, adding that her testimony is like putting together a puzzle. The individual pieces in and of themselves may not be all that instructive, but when they fit together with other testimony and other witnesses, then you start really seeing the picture, O'Mara said. And that's exactly what the prosecution is doing with this witness. Putting a little bow on things. 17 minutes ago, a shameful, dark secret. Jane explains why she didn't tell anyone about the hotel nights. Jane is testifying more about the text messages she sent to Sean Diddy Combs in December 2023. She says she felt manipulated and violated, and she said she was venting to the only person she could because she never confided in anyone else about hotel nights. When asked why she never told anyone, Jane testified because it was just a shameful, dark secret of mine. In the messages, Combs asked to see her, but she wasn't answering him for a time. Jane testified that she was trying not to answer Combs because he would gaslight her in a way that warped her sense of reality. Every time I would speak my truth or how I would be really feeling, Sean would just give me a different version of it and say, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, she said. At some point, they got on a FaceTime call. Jane testified Combs told her on the phone repeatedly to charge him an amount that would help her move on. Girl, and how much should you ask for? I'd be asking for like 100 G's so I can like catch ghosts. How about that? Not a month's rent. Like, we're talking about 6 figures. And look, seven might buy you a couple more hotel nights before I chalk the deuce. According to Jane, Combs said things on the phone like, charge me for your resentment, and I just need you to get over this. Jane testified he also said at the time, I don't want any loose ends. After that call, Jane sent Combs a text outlining terms in which Combs would pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars for what she felt would compensate her for the 3 years of their relationship. Okay. In response, Combs told her she was an opportunist, a liar, and a con artist. She also testified that Combs threatened to show her ex tapes to the father of her child. Child. This too much. Here Breezy says, oh, okay, I was wondering who Jane Doe was. Now I know. The big social media troll. Sometimes you like him, sometimes you hate him. He's been doing a lot here in Houston, especially for Houston ISD, Houston Independent School District. He's been doing a lot, but he is a troll, and sometimes comes off as evil, a little sick in the head, you know. I try to keep the faith that maybe he's not as bad as a lot of these other sickos like Diddy and R. Kelly, but you never know. You never know. Thanks, Jackie Gaze. Yes, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, y'all. I appreciate the support. Thanks for engaging and tuning in. All right, 15 minutes ago, Jane told Chief of Staff about Combs' ex-tape threat. She says, on December 28, 2023, Jane texts Christina Quorum. Do y'all think Christina Quorum is going to testify and flip on Diddy? His right-hand man, his Ghislaine Maxwell? Sean Diddy Combs' chief of staff that Combs had threatened her about her ex tapes, Jane testified. He said that he would expose me and send them to my child's father. He has been bothering me for 2 months, she wrote to Quorum in part. Jane says she talked to Quorum on the phone the next day, and Quorum agreed to hide the phones the tapes were on. Quorum then suggested Jane and Combs give each other space, Jane testified. Jane said Quorum told her, I always tell him all the time to just give these things space. Oh. Otherwise, we end up in the situation like we're in now. Jane said she understood Quorum was referring to Ventura's lawsuit. So Quorum worked with him knowing that he's an evil, neurotic, we could go all day with this, narcissistic sicko. Impulsive. That's the word I was searching for. Impulsive. Rich, impulsive sicko. Yeah, he lives here. I almost said who it was. Yeah, he lives here. I mean, I'm sure he has multiple homes, but yeah, he lives here. I have not seen him. One time he was at Specs, but I didn't make it over there. But no, I hadn't been able to see him. But yeah, he'd be at the rodeo. Doing, like I said, doing things for the school district. And Harmon says, I don't know if she will flip. I think she will. I don't think she have a choice. Because didn't they say if you don't testify, then you are a co-conspirator? If you don't flip, then, you're a co-defendant. So being as though she hadn't been named as a co-defendant yet, she might have told it all already. 7 minutes ago, Jane says she got back in touch with Combs because she missed him dearly. Oh, Lord. Girl, what's that a miss? Jane says she and Sean Diddy Combs got back in touch in February of 2024. Combs texted her saying he had a dream about her. She testified that she responded because she missed him dearly. In the messages, Combs said he missed her smile and told her to send a picture of them pretty teeth that he got fixed for. Is this after he got her teeth done? He wanted her to get her teeth done. I think he wanted her to get maybe we can say nipple. Can we say nipple on here? He wanted her to get 1 or 2 nipple piercings and all kinds of stuff. He's crazy. He then asked if she was free for her birthday. In later messages, Combs said he would love to spend her birthday with her. There's a love bombing, y'all. I'm a little traumatized from my past birthdays and what they ultimately led to at the end of the night. She texted him. Jane testified she was referring to hotel nights that occurred on her birthday in previous years. And there's one more update. Less than a minute ago, Jane testifies about how she got back together with Combs. The jury saw a long text message exchange between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs about whether they would spend her birthday together. Jane expressed in several text messages that she didn't think it was a good idea, but she eventually agreed to go visit Combs in Miami for her birthday. When she got there, Combs had a private dinner with decorations and gifts set up at his home in Miami. After dinner, Jane and Combs started drinking and took ecstasy, she testified. Sometime in the early morning hours, Combs asked Jane if she wanted to see Dawn. Oh, Lord, here we go. One of the entertainers from previous hotel nights. Jane testified that she agreed and had sex with Dawn in front of Combs at Combs' residence. Prosecutor Maureen Comey asked why Jane agreed to have sex with Dawn. At this point, I'm just so used to this being the outcome of whatever we're doing that I just accept it, she said. She and Combs rested in Miami a couple days after that before she flew back to Los Angeles, she said. When she left Miami, Jane and Combs were back together, she testified. I'm sure I've never told y'all this, but me and my hubby, before we got married a couple years ago. That's why I'm wondering when her birthday is. We took a trip for my birthday to Miami, and we did the boat tour that goes past Diddy's house, and he was out there with some lady that could have been Cassie. Could it have been Cassie? No, I don't think it could have been Cassie. Not Cassie. Could have been that girl, the Jane Doe. Could have been her that's testifying, or it could have been Gina, the other Asian, because she looked either Hispanic. We couldn't see it because it was kind of far away, but he was sitting on his whatever you call it, sitting back there. He waved to everybody. I have the video, but he was sitting back there with somebody that looked like Cassie. Could have been Gina. Could have been Jane Doe. So I'm wondering when her birthday was. And Harmon says, so did she love the money or him? I find it hard to believe maybe Cassie loved him, but I find it hard to believe that she did or that she even could. Like, how? You know, I don't know. I mean, she wasn't getting abused, as she stated, but like, I don't think she really loved him. We don't know, but I don't think she did. I don't know. We all know that if he didn't have the money, people would not stick around him a quarter of the length of time that they did, you know, and he knows that too. That's why he uses it to take advantage of so many people, you know. I don't even think his own mama would be around him like that if he didn't have money. He's just an evil sicko. Just an evil sicko. All right, let's see. We've been on for like 47 minutes. I'm going to see what Law and Crime talking about, if they're talking about anything. And if not, I'm going to end the live. Let me see. Is Law and Crime talking about anything? Trying not to stream it from YouTube. Okay. No, they're outside of. Let me take that down and share this. See, they're just showing the door. They're not talking about nothing, I don't think. Because Jane is on the stand. Let me see if anybody else talking about anything. Did we get in trouble for hey, Queen Black, welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. We're celebrating 3,000 subscribers. And I'm doing a test of streaming the Diddy Trial. Jay Breezy says exactly his old beady-eyed arse. I mean, he, and that's so crazy because I'm a little lenient when it comes to judging guys' looks. You know, like, you ain't got to be the best of the best looking for me to be like, oh, he's hot. I've never thought Diddy was in the least bit attractive, ever. And Tupac ain't the cutest either, but he looked 5 times better than Diddy. Look, I might go for Biggie before I would, you know, choose a Diddy. You know, we just going based off looks, because Diddy ain't never been fine either. Oogly. Okay, well, yeah, Law and Crime, they're outside looking outside from outside of the courtroom because the examination is still going on. So let me see. I don't think we can. I would go to I don't want to do that. I don't want to stream anybody else while they're live because they'll be taking my live down. And Harmon says, I will take Tupac. Yeah, Tupac is definitely some people's type. He never really was my type. I liked his music. I liked his acting, but back then he was just playing the thug thing a little too hard for me. So it was a turn off. I had a more of a liking for Biggie. And when Biggie died, I was too through. I was like, Tupac, it's all your fault. And then when they start saying Diddy might have had a hand in it, then I was done with Diddy too. I'm like, oh heck no. Not kill Biggie. I liked Biggie, but I think I liked Big Guys back then. Big Guys was my ish back in the day. Jay Breezy says, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, money doesn't make everyone pretty. Oh, you're right. You're right. You are totally right. It really doesn't. Cross Country Cruiser says Diddy has always been a no, no, no. Yeah. Bad vibe. Bad vibe. It's probably the eyes too. And then it's also like Suge said, always dancing in the video. Always gotta be in the video. Yeah, it was that too with his non-dancing self. Can't dance a lick. You know, you see him enough, then you're wondering like, what is your talent again? Like are these people the artists? What do you do? Because I'm starting to question everything about him now. Like, did you produce a record? Just one. Just one. Did you produce anything? Cross Country Cruiser, you liked his nose. You liked Tupac's nose. Now, the nose ring was sexy. That was sexy. Now, I liked him in the I Get Around video. I liked him clowning in that video. You know, the Brenda's Got a Baby, when he would get a little sentimental and you know, get deep. But when he would do the gangster stuff back then, it was kind of a turnoff for me. You know, I liked his loving side. You know, like Poetic Justice. Yeah, him and Biggie were both the ish back then. But when Biggie died, I got upset. My feelings were hurt. Oop, what they rushing for? And Harmon says Tupac was not really a thug. Yeah, I know that's what you found out later. But you know, from what he was displaying, I was like, no. He was a good actor, in my opinion. Yeah, he was definitely that. Because when you find out that wasn't really him to his core, it's like, why? Like, why? You know, Tupac was smart. Yeah. Look, don't get Jada to start talking about him now. Y'all want Jada to start talking about Tupac again? Now, I did go behind Sonya and research Jada Pinkett's book sales after Sonya was on one of them calls talking about Jada's book. And she really didn't sell anything. That's sad. That was tragic. I'm like, all that promotion she did, she needs to fire the publicist or whoever, you know, was promoting the book, because they did a horrible job. I don't know if it was bad timing. I don't know if they just pulled the wrong excerpts from the book, but I think she maybe only sold like 40,000 copies or something of that book. I don't know. Maybe we need to blame Tasha K or blame YouTube in general. Is anybody selling books nowadays? I don't know. Yeah, money will make you do some things. Like I was telling my hubby where I would draw the line. I know I can't, you know, just totally speak for these people because I'm not in their situation and, you know, have never been thrust into it or walked into it. I would draw the line with the DRUGS because you're not going to be able to enjoy the SEX or enjoy the money or enjoy Diddy or the lifestyle if you dead, you know. If you dead and gone from trying all them DRUGS, which I don't know how any of them are still alive. Ketamine, that's what took Matthew Perry out of here. As many DRUGS as Matthew Perry from Friends did all of his life, and to check out in a pool after taking ketamine. I mean, and people are still doing it, because I've been hearing a lot about ketamine recently. People are still doing ketamine. Like, once you hear so many people dying from something, wouldn't you stop? Wouldn't you be like, okay, yeah, let me find another DRUGS to experiment with it, to try. Cross Country Chris said there was a book that was the problem. Yeah, I guess. I didn't read it. I don't know. Sometimes when they pull those excerpts out and they just give you pieces, you don't really know how the book really is. So I don't know. I used to read a lot, but I don't read as much as I used to. Yeah, I think it was only 40K. Let me double check, because I had looked it up. Let me see. Ooh. I'm getting different numbers here. It says, while it has successful debut on the New York Times list, it didn't reach the top 100 on the Kindle e-reader chart and only sold 2,700 copies by a certain point. Oh, I don't know. This is AI, so I don't know. Let me see. Let me see what Newsweek said about it. Hold on. Maybe it's 40K now. When was this story? Yeah, it was saying it was making little impact on multiple bestseller lists. I think after the debut, it had only sold 2,700 copies. Yeah, I don't know what it is up to date. I think I saw 40K on something, but for it to, when it first came out, that's not good. Let me see if I can find anywhere else. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to be searching for too long. But yeah, I see a bunch of stories that said it only sold like 2,700 copies in the beginning. That ain't good. For her to put all her and Will's business out like that and only to sell 2,700 copies from the jump. Yeah, nobody cared to hear what she had to say, unfortunately. I hate that. I don't know why she came out with a book then anyway. She needs to just make sure Girls Trip Part 2 gets out here. Now, I'll go support that. I'll go support Girls Trip 2. Because the first one was funny. Harmony says, yes, it will take you out quick. I just heard about it. 5 years and they sell that stuff at gas stations. What? Lord have mercy. I don't know. I've never been like a smoker or anything like that. I don't mind an edible or like a little Delta 9 drink, but nothing else. Especially especially if it's coming from somewhere you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know if it's pure. Well, all the new stuff is just, you just never know what's gonna happen. Everybody's putting what is it? Meth. What is the drug now that's often everybody? Ricky Smiley's son. I can't think of it. Like I said, when I do these lives, y'all, I go blank. I need to eat me a banana or something before I do a live, so my mind will be going blank. What is it that they're putting in all of the DRUGS now that's taking everybody out of here Ricky Smiley's son and a lot of other people. That female rapper that died maybe a year or so ago. What is it? I think Ricky Smiley was trying to hide what exactly his son had taken. It was an overdose. Fentanyl. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. They putting fentanyl in everything. So everybody pretty much needs to be drug free in 2025. I'd be too scared to do anything. If you're not going to a dispensary or going to one of those natural like CBD stores, I wouldn't be, partaking at all. Let's see. I think they got one more update and then I'm going to end. I think they got one more update. And then I'm going to end the live. I see how these things be lengthy because we can sit and talk all day, right? All right. 3 minutes ago, Combs suggested he and Jane split peacefully. Jane read aloud messages between her and Sean Diddy Combs and early. Oh, let me put it back up here for y'all. Sorry. One more update and then yeah, you can't. I don't see how people. I see because it's an addiction. I definitely see, but I don't see. If you see people, everyone around you just checking out, something gotta tell you, hey, let me find something else to take my mind off things, to take the edge off of things, Anything but ketamine and fentanyl. All right, so Combs suggested he and Jane split peacefully. Jane read aloud messages between her and Sean Diddy Combs in early March 2024. Jane testified that Combs was trying to get her to set up a hotel night with entertainers or men paid to have extra encounters with Jane during hotel nights. In the messages, Combs told her that his mother was coming into town soon, and Jane responded implying that he was lying to cover up being with another woman. Combs wrote that it would be best if they went their separate ways peacefully. I would appreciate it if you could sign something for me so I could have closure comfortably, he wrote. No problem, Jane responded. Combs wrote that Jane was making her own money now, so he hoped they could have a clean break, and that he told his accountant. Jane testified that his accountant was the person responsible for paying her rent on time. Jane texted him and that she was still paying off her debt from being unemployed for 3 years when she was his on-call party girl. She asked Combs for 3 months before taking on the rental payments. And as y'all know, or may know, he's still paying her rent to this day. I wonder why. To me, it seems like she's complying for the most part. So even though he's still paying her rent, she's still being honest on the stand from what I can see. So I don't know. So in summation, Jane has been testifying Friday about the drug fuel. Oops, I said the word. Extra performances called hotel nights. She says she endured during her relationship with Combs. Jane described how she told the music mogul she wanted to stop them, and she broke into tears when she detailed having a hotel night on her birthday. Any of y'all been watching Armand Wiggins? Because he has been cracking me up when he does the recaps and the way he describes Jane Doe and all that crying she's been doing on that stand. It has been having me laughing. Y'all been watching Armand? If y'all haven't, y'all should. If y'all, don't want the recaps to be so heavy, Armand has been cracking me the F up. He's taking it seriously, but at the same time, he can't help but be funny. But he said Jane Doe is up there like a bubbling fool. She can't compose herself. All right, federal charges. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that include racketeering, conspiracy, and ex trafficking. If convicted on all counts, he could face up to life in prison. Well, let's hope that's what he's facing, y'all. Let's hope that that's his. That's the end result of this trial. They keep filing for mistrials. I think they said they've done it. What, like 8 times? Have they filed for mistrial 8 times? I think already. And unsuccessfully. So anyway, I get scared every time I hear about them filing for a mistrial, because I'm like, please God, no. Let them get this over with, and even if he's not found guilty on everything, at least he'll be found guilty on like the trafficking, because that's a for sure thing. The trafficking part, that part is for sure. Oh Lord, I don't know about the racketeering. I don't know if they can really make that stick, but the trafficking, that part. Girl, don't feel bad. I mean, you gotta keep stuff light. It didn't happen to us, thank God. Yeah, that part. It didn't happen to us. Yeah, I feel bad. That he's put so many people through so much. Because of his money and power. But shoot, you kind of gotta have to get through it. It got 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks of this madness. So I enjoyed chatting with y'all and kind of going through these courtroom updates. I appreciate y'all being here. I know people have been in and out. It's a celebration, 3,000 subscribers and climbing. And it sucks that, we have no movement in Nesto's case. Royally sucks, but yeah, I'm probably gonna do a live soon to celebrate my 3,000 subscribers, and then I'll do the more recent RV FaceTimes that I haven't reacted to. So y'all look out for that. Thanks, Jay Breezy, for being here. Thank you, Cross Country Cruiser, for always supporting. I really appreciate it. I'm glad y'all enjoy. I get cold feet sometimes, but I know the more I do it, the more relaxed I will be. But thank you, Kenna14, if you're still in here. Thanks so much for joining. And I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday. And I'll see y'all on these YouTube streets. Bye.